My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Welcome to my podcast. And today I have the great joy and honor of inviting Jill Brady has agreed to speak with us today. And I'm thrilled. I met Jill in Michael Neal's Super Coach. It's where I seems to meet all my great people. And Jill has been a lifelong learner. So welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you here today.
Oh, thank you, Anna. I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
You think you know how much I adore you and how much I admire your work.
Oh God. Well, I admire what you see. And so we both have studied, Jill and I are basically both lifelong learners. It's like we've done it all and keep on looking for more and more. And we met each other when we came across the principles. And Jill, I'd love you to share like how it's impacted you and what looks true to you these days.
You know, I think the thing that looks the most true to me and feels like it's at the base of all of our thinking, all of the ish that seems to come up for us in our lives is that suffering is a choice.
So say more.
I was sitting in the dental chair today and I was like, okay, well, I'm in this really soft, comfy chair, right? This new office, very comfortable chair. I'm laying down. My mouth is open. Someone has their hands in my mouth. That's it. Like that was it. Like just if any of us just looked in, that's the picture we'd see. But in my head, I don't like that cotton thing in my mouth. I really want to swallow. Why can't I swallow? I don't like that. I was just on this crazy, and I could have, because above me was this beautiful TV screen. I could have been watching Netflix. They said, "Do you want to watch Netflix?" I'm like, no, I'd rather sit here and suffer and think about all the things I'm not liking about being at the dentist, And the reality was I was just really in this really nice, comfy chair, laying back. Someone had their hands in my mouth. There was nothing that was like it was so obvious to me that my suffering in that moment was 100% thought created.
Wow.
100%. It really wasn't. And then it was done. I was like, oh, well, that was an hour and a half of suffering unnecessarily.
Wow. Do you catch yourself often watching how you start to create your thought created realities and then you stop it?
Yes, and thank heavens, because I think in my past life, I would be in a scenario that was outside of me and it looked rough. My perception of it was rough. It wasn't okay. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I liked. And so then I would create so much, I just allow my thinking to run rampant with that and let it just overwhelm me. And then as I learned, like, well, if I back up a little bit, then what's there? If I just take a step back, what does that look like? And the good news, the good news for me is that, God bless America. When I do this, the more I practice it, the easier it is the next time, where something that maybe took me a day of suffering, of frustration, of not wanting it to look the way it does, then it maybe just turned into an hour. And then after that, working with that for a while, then it kind of just turned into, it doesn't need to look like that for more than a second, because the minute I see that I'm doing it, I didn't see I was doing it with my teeth until I was at lunch. talking to my, person I was at lunch with and sharing the story and saying, here's what happened today. And so that's the good news to me, is that the more I see that, the quicker I see it. And then the quicker I see it, the easier my life is, because I just don't have to suffer.
Wow. It reminds me of, you said something about backing up, and I love that. I love that image.
Yeah.
It's like backing up before all the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, when you back up before all your thinking, what do you experience?
I think the step back is just that moment when I think that's when I can reconnect to like, oh, there you are, Jill.
Oh.
Like, there you are. Because that anger or frustration, or I don't like that I'm projecting out onto an external situation, is not me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But when I can just take this step back, then I can go, oh yeah, because here you are. And when you're here, then there's just the peace and the joy and I'm in this comfortable chair that's actually turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors. Like, how gorgeous, right?
Wow.
But I guess the reconnection, like I don't know if that's the right terminology for it, but when you ask that, like, what does that feel like? That's such a great question, because I don't know that I've ever thought, what does that feel like? But I think it feels like a reconnection to my real true self, which is just resting at peace all the time, except when I tell her she's not.
Oh my God, Jill. I just have this image of what you just explained. It's like you're backing yourself, like backing a car into the garage, but you're backing yourself into you.
I love a great visual.
That's the feeling I got when you were
great visual
talking about that. And when you've backed into, you backed into the garage or backed into yourself, I'm curious, what's it like for you? You talked a little bit about it, but what's the feeling or experience?
It's just that place of, it's just, I mean, for me, it feels like joy, because I feel like I feel that like that's who this is. When I like my isness, my being is this just joy, peace, all those words that I just love, the grace, the goodness, the all the things that I would want to like aspire to be, that are out, like, oh, if I tried this. And because you said we're lifelong learners, and both of us at different times in our life have been like so obsessive lifelong learners, we're completely out of, let me just speak for myself. I've been completely out of myself trying to do this, and I got to add this meditation, I got to add this positive self-talk, and blah, 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 on and on for the self-help world. When all the time, if I just would just, shut the hell up and be quiet and just be, then now that was already there.
Oh my God, Jill. You you just spoke. God, I'm actually teary. You just spoke such a truth bomb. I would always try to go do those things, like the lifelong learner, the meditation, all the practices, and trying to become my intellect was trying to become the thing that was already there, but it actually moved further away from it and make myself nutty.
Yeah. Yeah, because can't obtain it that way. Because there's nothing to obtain, because it's not out there. It's not out there.
That image of backing up and backing into the garage. It's like when I'd like to use the car metaphor, when I like my thinking, it's like me pushing the gas pedal, but I'm in park and I don't go anywhere.
Wow. That's such a great metaphor. The car's a great metaphor. It's just that revving, exhaust, right? All the exhaust that comes with it, all the pollutants,
Oh my
all
God.
the ish.
And we can't necessarily smell it. Like if it's in the garage, we don't necessarily smell it, but boy, can we feel it. I mean, I think about, since I've met you, how much calmer you are. And the spaciousness that you have now. Like you've stopped trying to figure it out. You've stopped trying to get somewhere. Like the sense of peace and joy that you have, it emanates. I'll never forget walking down Santa Monica Boulevard or whatever that street was when we were going to class, and just watching when you aren't in your thinking, how you light up everybody around you, becomes this beautiful human being that you see.
What a lovely thing to say. Thank you.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's my experience of you. And it's just that in people, I would watch people when you're in this space, how people would want to be next to you or come up to you. Because this energy, this thing that you're backing into, or that we all are, is in all of us. And you just are the light that reminds everybody that this is in you too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's an extremely generous compliment. So thank you.
It's not meant to be a compliment. That's what's so funny. I don't know what a compliment is. It's just what I see and notice. Do you have an experience of yourself slowing down?
Oh my gosh, yes. Just absolutely. And it's, back to the car metaphor, it's probably because I really love the garage a lot more than I thought I would.
Oh, say more about that.
Well, it's just nice. It's nice being in there. It's a nice backing into myself. It's like, oh, that's a good place to be. That's where it all is, just a lovely place to be. Why wouldn't I want to hang out here all the time? You know?
I'm sorry, but I don't even know where to go with this because it's so good. Did you not know that it existed before?
I think I wanted to believe that it existed, in the sense that I could feel myself revving. I could feel my wheels spinning in the external search. And then I get around my grandbaby. And when you're around a grounded baby, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if you're the mom, the grandma, related at all, or any of us. There's just this innate joy and pleasure and goodness and pureness and all the words, all the feels. They're just wrapped up in that bundle. And I remember watching my girlfriend, whose children were older when they had children, and so she was quite a bit older, her first grandchild, and all of a sudden I looked up, and she and her husband and I and the baby's parents, we're all watching this little 11-month-old, 10-month-old, beautiful little child do her thing. She just on the floor, she was, crawling around, and we all of a sudden look around, I'm like, we're all these grown old people. But we were so enamored with this little human because, and my gut, and this is my belief system, that because she is all those things that we want to be or think we should be, or that I was looking for outside of myself. She is all those things. Well, when little Sophia is 60, she will still be all those things. She's still that. She's still all the words, all the feels, all the beautiful things that were so that I had felt I was so far away from. But I think that's why it feels good to be there, because we're like, oh yeah, I'm that.
Oh God, Jill.
I'm
And
that.
the thing that you keep using the word to feel that. It's like such a feeling. Like we try to get there in concepts. Like I know that you come from a religious background, and we have concepts of what it's like, but then the feeling, to really feel it, is so different.
Yeah.
There's such an aliveness and such a beauty in it.
Yeah, there really is. And it's gorgeous to see. I know you see this with your clients a lot, where you see when they get there. You see when they've backed into themselves and all of a sudden have, because you can see there's a change in their countenance. There's a shift. There's this beautiful energetic shift that takes place when they go, oh, there I am.
Did you find, after you really felt that, like your striving and the perfectionism started to wane because you could feel the difference?
Absolutely.
Can you say more about that? Because I think that's, having known you, I think that's so many people strive for that, and you've really seen something about it. And it seems like it's really shifted.
Yeah, because there was a big, in my religious background, there was a lot of push to perfection. There was a lot of that's be your best self, which is great. I love that religion or a thought process could teach us that, try and be your best self, strive, do those things. I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. But there was such a push for perfection in my particular faith, and it was a constant battle, because first of all, like, what is perfection? Right? That, like, how is that ever achievable? Because once you strive, and then you'd actually reach something that you thought at one point, if I get there, that is perfect. But then you get there and you're like, oh, I wasn't nowhere near perfect. I got to get there. I got to go over there. I got to do this. I got to do more. So it's this constant, I got to do more. I got to be better. And then the squish that comes with this need to be perfect. Like that's like a vice grip on your skull, just like tightening, and interestingly enough, it's like with a self crank, right? So it's like I've got the vice grip on my head, and then I'm cranking it to squish myself into that perfection. And then I'm not okay with anybody else either, because they're not perfect either, and I want them to be, because I think that's where I need to be. And now this is maybe going to sound a little, well, let me just say it. But then when all of that's stripped away and gone, and I'm just back to baby Sophia, baby Jill, there wasn't one thing about baby Sophia that wasn't absolute brilliant perfection on every level.
Oh, wow.
And there's not one thing about baby Jill, who's now no longer in an infant's body, but still that at my core, there's not one thing about that that's not absolute brilliant perfection. So resting in that, oh, that's expensive. Oh, there's so much like just, that's what's there. And then lo and behold, I get to see that in other people too, because that's who they are. And then the judgment's gone. And I mean, there's just so many good things that come with that.
It just seems that life has become simpler and more enjoyable for you. Is that a true story?
Yes, yes. Much, much simpler to live from this space. Much simpler. And still do stuff. Still, it's not like I'm not just sitting here and relishing in this, whatever this is inside of all of us. It's so perfect and yummy. And I'm not just sitting in the lotus position day after day after day, relishing in that. I could still live life, right?
Well, I've seen that when I love what this whole backing inside yourself. I think that when we're there, that this life intelligence, whatever this is, whatever that perfection is, it has us want to do things. It has us want to enjoy life and to create and contribute.
Absolutely.
And whatever occurs.
And you've been so great. Like, damn, I'm a Ferrari. Wow. Now I can just, it's almost like that's we realize we have just so much more to kind of offer, be just the way I show up. It's just so different. And it's so much better than being outside of that.
I my experience with you is that you listen to people from the space. Because I'm one of the people who gets listened to. And it's like the experience is that when somebody listens to you from this space, it's like all the personas, all the walls, or all the posturing gets to melt away. And I just get to show up and be who I am. And whatever way that is okay. It's like I'm loved regardless.
Yeah.
And I think when you operate from that place where you're talking about being, reconnected to you, and it's such a gift to other people because they get to let go of all their shoulds, their what ifs, and all the efforting that we do. And I just get to breathe and be a human being, all of me, all my fallibilities, all of it, and know that it's perfect, that I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
All the struggles, all the wanting to be liked and look good, all of it. I think that's a rare, my experience has been that that's a rare gift.
Yeah, it's a lovely way to show up for each other as humans.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And I think you really do. I think that's why I did want to interview you, is because I think my experience has been with you is that you do that. You do that for me. You do that for other people. And I watch how people light up around you. Because when you're with people and not in your thinking, are just letting them squirm around on the floor, like to use the baby metaphor, and whatever they're doing, it's just fine. And then they somehow kind of get to back inside themselves too.
Yeah.
Just by your presence.
Well, and I mean, thank you. And it's not, I don't think it's anything I'm doing in particular. I think it's just for all of us in this, my gosh, I feel like just extremely connected in our world right now to each other, to all humanity, as we're going through these global, world changes together. There's this really fascinating connection that I see there. And I think that's what's like, it's here for every one of us. Like the minute we're okay with us, it just automatically allows everybody else to be okay with them.
Yeah, but that's
who they
again,
are.
most people don't know that they're okay. I mean, for how many years I didn't know it. How many hundreds of $1,000s I spent trying to become okay, only to realize that you can't fix something that's not broken.
Amen. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with you, and there never has, and there never will be.
Wow.
But that feeling, there's nothing more divine. I love what you said. I like this feeling, so I just keep on coming home back to it.
Mm-hmm.
I notice when I'm off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you always look radiant. Like this is the best facelift.
Yeah. If we could just market that, right? You want to take 20 years off your life? Find that little one inside of you, because she's there. He's there,
Yeah. This aliveness is there. It is. It really is. And it just, the scars, it doesn't leave any scarring.
Yeah, which is so nice, right? And it didn't cost a penny, just like, yeah.
That it's going to be my new tagline.
I love it.
I'm the new facelift.
Love it. And my experience of you is you're a damn good surgeon.
Oh, sweetie, this was the fastest. Do you realize that we've just spoken for 30 minutes?
Wow. No, it's so fast.
I hope one person, my wish is one person hears this and they back home inside themselves too.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because it's all there and everything they need is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you, dear. Mwah. So good to be with you. Love you.
Yeah.